Where is Omar? I know, I was just. Got Rhonda here. No. Yep. We want to take. No, we'll just go in the order of. Oh, because he's not here. Put it around. All right. You ready? Mm-hmm. Yes. Since you're on the, who is it, you or you? Okay.
No, done.
All right. All right. Now that most of the council members here are present, Councilmember Quirino Orozco is not here. Call to order the November 19th meeting of the City of West Sacramento, City Council, West Sacramento Redevelopment Agency, and Finance Authority. We will begin with the land acknowledgement. We'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we live, work, learn, and commune is the original homelands of the indigenous people of West Sacramento, who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We acknowledge and we thank the original inhabitants who have occupied, maintained, and secured this place, and who still exist on this land. We respect and celebrate the many diverse indigenous people still connected to this land on which we gather. Council met in closed session this evening. Mr. City Attorney, can you present any update?
Yes, ma'am. The council met in closed session for the 3 real estate items listed on the agenda. No reportable action was.
Thank you. And we would like to invite our guests to join council and staff in the pledge. And Ms. Victoria Cruz, from your place, can you please stand and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Ms. Cruz. As is noted on our agenda, City Council is prohibited by state law from discussing or taking any action on items that are brought up under item 1 for public comment, but it provides an important opportunity for a public forum, and the public is given an opportunity at this time to address City Council and issues not listed on the agenda. And if you have not done so yet and would like to speak under this item, we request that all those interested in speaking under item 1 go to the request to speak cards there at the corner and submit it to the clerk if you would like to be called to speak under item 1 on matters not on the agenda. We accept the request to speak cards up to the conclusion of the staff report on any particular agenda item. Once the staff report has been read and we open the item up for public comment, the clerk will announce your name for you to walk to the podium to speak. Now, in front of the clerk, there is a timer to ensure that everyone has a chance to be heard. And we ask that all comments be limited to 3 minutes. Also, in front of the clerk, an analog flip chart which indicates which agenda item the council is currently considering. We also recognize that for some, speaking in public can cause anxiety, so we request that there be no applause or boos, catcalls, or other demonstrations. Furthermore, so that we may maintain a civil discourse here in the chambers, We ask that those in attendance and those who address the city council abide by the code of conduct posted and not speak in loud, threatening, offensive, abusive, or otherwise disrespectful language that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. So now this brings us to item 1, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the council. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Juan Gutierrez.
Mr. Gutierrez, can you please come up to the podium? Oh, hi. Is it too high for you? Are you okay?
I can't hear you.
Is it too high for you?
Oh, probably.
Oh, there you go. He's good.
Okay. There you go. That's even better. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Hi. Thank you and good evening. I wanted to speak a little bit about a notice I received a couple of weeks ago from code enforcement. It indicated to me that the carport in front of my house was not permitted by the city code. And I reviewed the city code, and sure enough, structures, most carports are not allowed in the city of West Sacramento. And I reviewed the code section, Title 17, specifically Section 17.51.020. And simply says that the structure, structure is any constructed or erected, anything constructed or erected which requires a location on the ground. And there's anything in front of the house, between the sidewalk and the house, is prohibited. So you can't have a carport. So I would, I'm going to suggest to the council to add a sentence to that provision, simply saying, for purposes of this code, a carport shall not be considered a structure. And by definition, carports will be allowed. And that's the end of my comments. Good night.
Thank you.
Mark Campbell.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, thank you for letting me speak. Aaron, it's been a while. My name's Mark Campbell. I'm a resident of the Rivers community. I'm currently a member of the HOA, and on their behalf, I'm here speaking tonight. As you may know, the community of the Rivers, as originally developed, had 3 core neighborhoods. They differed in terms of access to amenities and consequently with regard to their assessments. They included the homes on Lighthouse, the homes behind the gate, and the homes on Watercolor Watercourse. There are 53 homes in the Watercolor Watercourse community, little niche neighborhood at the end of 5th as it bends west into Lighthouse. The streets inside the gate in Watercolor and Watercourse are private streets. And they do pay an assessment to maintain those streets and the gates and some of the landscaping pertinent to the gates. At this time, the HOA would like to consider the transfer of the private streets, Watercolor and Watercourse, to the city. I'm here to ask the city whether or not that's possible and what it would take to develop a proposal that the HOA would put forward to the community for vote. In brief, I think the benefits to the city are, of course, the acquisition of the real property and some portion of the HOA's reserve funds, which are now dedicated to the maintenance and repair of those streets. And I think those funds could help seed the city's long-term commitment. Secondly, it would reduce the fees for those 53 homes which are currently over $700 a year. Thirdly, and this to me is the most important, it would support the HOA's effort to address what I think is a structural disparity created by the original builders and their foundation documents that has resulted in a few subsidizing the many. This situation has created a disunity within the community, which only continues to grow. So I'm here to ask you to direct staff to work with the HOA board to determine whether, one, this is possible, and two, what it would take to make this mutually beneficial to both the HOA and the city. With that, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell.
Guy Stevenson?
Stevens.
Mayor, city council members, I want to address this because it seems like it's a problem and it could end up in court if I choose to do it. I've repeatedly told you people, not about VIA, it's about these food vendors that are popping up everywhere. I don't want them to get fined, and it's not about race. It's not that I'm trying to attack anybody based on their race. It's about being compliant. Having a license, having the health department check out their facility, because you cannot, give people food and charge them when you can't keep the food at a certain temperature. However, I've called environmental health out of Woodland. They send it over here. These people over here send it back. So somebody has to be, it has to be accountable. Everybody that does business over here has to be compliant. Licensed, checked out, especially when you're dealing with food. Because food, you can get food poisoning and get really sick, and then you end up in the hospital with a bunch of medication, and that's basically the reason why I'm here. It's not that I want these people to get, get a ticket from code enforcement. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with safety. I don't want to see, because I saw some the other day when I was driving on the road. They got igloos, but they have no way of keeping the temperature, and food that's delivered to people has to be at a certain temperature. Restaurants have to do it. Why don't they? I brought this up to Aaron. I brought this up to other people, and they just seem to, it's not that big of a deal. It is when you get food poisoning and you end up in the ER. And I checked when I was over at UC Davis the other day for treatment. I asked them, how many people go through this ER with food poisoning? And you'd be amazed on how many end up over there. And it's partly because of food. Bacteria grows rapidly when the food and the temperature of the food is not right. I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time. And like I said, it's not based on race or anything. It's about being compliant. And that's all I'm saying. Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Thank
We
you.
have no additional requests to speak on this item.
All right. So next we have presentations with our honored guests who are here to receive them. We will begin with the proclamation recognizing recipients of the YOLO Community Foundation's 2025 YOLO Philanthropy Awards. And today we have Ms. Victoria Cruz from West Sac Kids Give Back and Patrice Griffith and her family here for YOLO Food Bank. And I'm going to read the proclamation and also ask you if you can come on up if you wanted to say a few remarks up here present. And then we'll go from there, ask council members if they have a few remarks, because we greatly appreciate all you're doing. So we would like to have a few remarks. And then go down and take a photo. So I will read the 2025 YOLO Philanthropy Award recipients, whereas the mission of the YOLO Community Foundation is to inspire and support giving and to provide philanthropic leadership in the community, connecting local residents, nonprofits, and donors in service of the common good. And whereas volunteers and donors are essential to the success of nonprofits, offering vital resources of money, expertise, and time that make it possible for organizations to achieve their missions. And whereas these contributions directly advance nonprofit sustainability and effectiveness, ensuring essential services and opportunities remain available to the community. And whereas more than 15 years, the YOLO Community Foundation has hosted the YOLO Philanthropy Awards to celebrate and honor those whose generosity and service have enriched countless lives and strengthened YOLO County. And whereas in 2025, 38 local nonprofits came together to recognize the extraordinary volunteers and donors who generously contribute their time, skills, and resources to improving our community, holding 2 recipients from West Sacramento. And whereas the YOLO County Children's Alliance recognized West Sac Kids Give Back, a West Sacramento-based nonprofit that hosts charitable donation drives and encourages youth to learn the virtues of community service. And whereas the YOLO Food Bank has recognized West Sacramento resident Patrice Griffith for her service on the Food Bank Board of Directors and her numerous contributions to food security in YOLO County, including organizing the Student Farmers Market at River City High School. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City of West Sacramento City Council congratulates West Sac Kids Give Back and Patrice Griffith for their recognition at the YOLO Philanthropy Awards and extends heartfelt appreciation for their work in West Sacramento community. So we applaud you and thank you so much for all that you're doing. And who would like to speak first?
Good evening, council members and community members. My name is Carolina Valverde, and I'm here on behalf of YOLO Community Foundation. I wanted to express our deep gratitude to the City of West Sacramento for this proclamation recognizing the West Sacramento residents who were recently honored at the YOLO Philanthropy Awards. As you mentioned, the Philanthropy Awards celebrate the many ways residents across YOLO County work together for the greater good, and West Sac consistently stands out for its culture of service and civic engagement. We're proud to recognize the honorees from West Sac and that their example inspires others to get involved. These honorees represent the best of West Sac, people who give generously of their time, talents, and resources to strengthen our community. They remind us that philanthropy isn't just about giving money, it's about giving care and commitment. Thank you again for shining a light on their contributions. This recognition not only honors them, but strengthens the spirit of community that defines West Sacramento. Thank you.
Good evening. It's so awesome to be here with you guys. It's been a while, but I have been busy. And I just want to thank you guys for this acknowledgement. It just goes above and beyond what was already done that evening as a recipient of that award. And really, furthermore, I want to thank you for supporting along this food insecurity journey because 3-4 years ago, when I heard about the high rate of food insecurity in West Sacramento, and that West Sacramento did have the highest rate of food insecurity in the state of California, I felt that I had to do something, and that was the Student Farmers Market at River City. And I had so many partners in the community and in our city of West Sacramento want to join in and support that. And from there, it grew exponentially, and that's actually how I ended up on the board. So for YOLO Food Bank. But thank you so much for the acknowledgement, and I thoroughly enjoy everything that I do with each and every one of you and with our community as a whole.
I want to thank you guys too for the acknowledgement. It's been an honor to do the West Sac Kids the last 10 years. We're taking a break this year, but we'll be back doing it again. So just want to thank you.
Thanks. And remarks from our council members? Anybody like to start? Go ahead.
Oh, happily go. Okay, so Councilmember Roscoe could not be here tonight, so I am going to read her comments. So you get a 2-for-1 this evening. So Councilmember Roscoe is terribly saddened that she could not be here tonight, personally give comments on this matter. However, she wanted me to relay the following message. This is not doing service to Karina because she is so good at speaking and I am all over the place right now. So I apologize. Sorry, Karina. Please forgive me. Okay, let's start again. Thank you, YOLO Community Foundation, for requesting this proclamation on behalf of Patrice Griffith and West Sac Kids Give Back. With respect to West Sac Kids Give Back, This long-term effort began a little over 11 years ago after a routine trip to our city's beloved City Donut in the heart of West Sacramento. Me and my very young 2 little boys were exiting the shop when we encountered one of our unhoused residents sleeping in the streets in the cold morning. My 4-year-old boy wanted to help him, and I needed to find a positive and child-friendly manner in which to show him how to give back to our community and help others. The following week, I approached his kindergarten classroom and asked some of the parents if they would be interested in participating. 4 women raised their hands. That is how the effort West Sac Kids Give Back was born. Together, the small group of local West Sac moms has spent countless hours on weekends helping children become inspired to find the goodness in their community. They do so by creating the experience from school supply drives to feminine hygiene products to yarn collection events, and our personal hygiene care package donations dropped off at annual event. This is all parent volunteer based. We do it because we love our community and want our children to see service to their community as part of their lives. After 10 years, the children are now teens and still find ways to serve others in even the smallest ways. They, along with thousands of other children in the community over the years, have truly made a difference in the lives of others. This just goes to show that even our youngest members of our community can make the biggest impact. Tonight, one of the hardest working individuals on our team, Victoria Cruz, will be in attendance. While I'm terribly saddened to not be here with you tonight, I wish to express my gratitude to the Yolo Community Foundation for honoring both Patrice Griffith and West Sac Kids Give Back for their commitment to this mighty little community. West Sacramento is a wonderful place to live, work, and play because of individuals like these who give their hearts and souls, bring the magic to create a better West Sacramento.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
You landed the plane.
Okay, I'll be very brief. I just want to thank you so much for everything that you do. And you said that philanthropy, you give care and commitment, but I thought of another word, and it was hope. So thank you.
So I remember my first Kids Give Back event. It was actually many years ago with my son, who was then a teenager, and my young daughter. And the years following, in which we brought out our Girl Scouts, and there has just been such a positivity around allowing kids and teaching kids the joy, the purpose of philanthropy and how important that is to give back to your community, right? Because collectively that makes us strong when we're united. And so I can't say how much I appreciate you all for doing that work. I know that sometimes it can probably feel, unappreciated, but I hope you know how much not only our kids have appreciated you, but also our entire community, and just being able to rally around that. I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about the work of YOLO Food Bank, particularly in light of the recent government shutdown and how much our food banks have had to, quite frankly, step in and step up as our government decided to step out and step back. And the amount of pressure that added to you all, to these organizations, and how much of our resources were drained during that time. It is not as if the government is going to now say, okay, thank you so much for filling in the gap, for giving those resources, for giving out those dollars to the community when they needed it, when they needed food. Those are gone. And so thank you so much for the work that you guys do to ensure that our most vulnerable are taken care of, because you need to be able to meet your basic needs. And as a community, we know that no one should go hungry and that no child should go hungry in our community. And so thank you so much.
Thank you, council members. West Sac Kids Give Back has been such a tremendous momentum of kindness, giving, teaching our kids the important values that is going to be, giving us back for years to come. What it is to be a kind and caring community, and all the events that brought us together have been just tremendous. I have found it to be a community connectivity event, seeing so many people so excited to do something kind and to give back to our community. And so thank you so much, Victoria, for being here. I know Councilmember Orozco was, really sad about not being able to make it. I was even going to try to call her up and you could speak. We wanted her presence here because, she's she's been a major contributor to this. And we are, I think the community, for all those that have been recipients of the little gift bags and the contributions that everybody has given, are indebted to all of you. So thank you so much for doing that. And for Yolo Food Bank, to my colleague Patrice, we have taken a look at an opportunity for a grant together. That was an inspiration. You inspired me to both of us put the hours together, the number of hours of drafting a grant request. Not that I know for sure we'll get it, but it's because a lot of the background was what kind of work has been done. And all of that is as a result of your work, Patrice, and your family who have contributed, that kind of put us in a position to be able to elevate. We have more work to do. And the work will be to continue to increase enrollment now that we have public charge. It's going to scare many immigrant families who have not just documented citizen children who are going to feel discouraged. And that education component that, just working with Yolo Food Bank to apply for benefits. CalFresh, as we know, is going to be cut significantly. We're going to see seniors cut, children not being able to access CalFresh benefits, adults. A lot of those individuals who are receiving shelter from the city are not going to be able to receive CalFresh benefits. So that starts to, as of this month, even though we saw the shutdown, the ongoing impact from HR 1 as a result of the shutdown bill getting approved is putting into place in motion the cutbacks now. So that is a heavy impact. Your work is going to triple. Our resources and support that we need to provide to our community, we're going to, all of us here, continue to push out requests for donations and support. So just thank you so much. That very unique program, I was able to go and participate in the high school distribution and speaking with the teachers after about the lack of food in students' homes, and how, the children come to school hungry and they go home, because they didn't get a chance to, they may have a meal during the day, but they're going to go home hungry. And so you provided them with a little grocery bag so they can cook, and along with the little recipes that came with the grocery bag. So that was a very warm touch, and it was done in such a way that all the students were having fun, not feeling stigmatized to receive a grocery bag. And it was beautifully displayed. So thank you so much for your hard work. We're going to just continue this work together, no matter what happens to the grant request. I learned a lot in this process. And you're right, we are socioeconomically the poorest of the entire state. And so the demand is here in West Sacramento, especially in Brighton Broderick area, where we know that people are going to be in definite demand. And we are seeing, from what we've been able to tell at the food bank lines, that people from Sacramento are coming here too. And it's just tragic to see that there's hunger all around when there is so much food available that people can access, but they're not able to access it except through the food bank and all the hard work you do. So thank you so much. And we're going to go down and take a photo at this point. All right, next we will move on to our proclamation of the West Sacramento City Council recognizing the 75th anniversary of Yolo County Housing, and Mr. Ian Evans and company. Councilmember Early will be presenting proclamation.
Come on down. All right, I'll start with the proclamation, and then we'd love to hear some words from you. All right, so the City of West Sacramento, recognizing the 75th anniversary of Yolo County Housing, whereas the Housing Authority of the County of Yolo, also known as Yolo County Housing, YCH, has provided 75 years of service, delivering safe, affordable housing and fostering community development for low-income families, seniors, people with disabilities, and migrant agricultural workers. And whereas during the 1980s, YCH added 431 affordable housing units at Riverbend in West Sacramento and El Rio BS3 in Winters, serving approximately 920 residents countywide. And whereas following the Housing Act amendments that created the Section 23 leased housing program, YCH implemented the Section 8 program in 1974, which evolved into the Housing Choice Voucher program in the 1990s. And whereas YCH is authorized to administer 2,005 vouchers, serving about 3,000 participants throughout Yolo County, providing assistance that enables economically disadvantaged households to afford decent, safe, and sanitary housing. And whereas YCH operates 3 migrant centers with 232 seasonal housing units serving approximately 831 agricultural workers and their families. And whereas YCH and New Hope Community Development Corporation jointly own, operate, and manage multiple affordable housing communities serving approximately 450 individuals in West Sacramento. And whereas YCH remains a vital resource for Yolo County residents, providing housing assistance and supportive services that promote stability and self-sufficiency. And whereas the dedication of past and present commissioners, executive directors, staff, and volunteers has been central to YCH's enduring success and its lasting impact on the community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the West Sacramento City Council congratulates the Housing Authority of the County of Yolo on its 75th anniversary and extends heartfelt appreciation and best wishes for continued success. Proclaimed this 19th day of November. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Guerrero, council members. Ian Evans, Executive Director for Yolo County Housing and President CEO of New Hope Community Development Corporation. I have our Housing Program Manager with us, Anissa Vallejo, tonight. Councilmember Early serves on our board, so she knows brevity is not my strong suit. I have one paragraph for each year we've been in operation, so just kidding. I do have a few words to say, if you'll bear with me. So thank you, City Council and City staff. Housing is foundational. It's foundational to health, education, economic opportunity, and community well-being. We currently have 620 vouchers leased in West Sacramento. And with an average per unit cost of $1,100 a month, this means that not only we're ensuring 620 households have a roof over their head every single night, it also means that we're supporting West Sacramento landlords to the tune of $680,000 monthly, which is funding going directly into the local economy. We also have 139 public housing units in West Sacramento at our Riverbend and Las Casitas properties, and we own, operate, manage, or support an additional 102 units in West Sacramento, meaning that total, we currently provide housing for more than 860 households in West Sacramento. We're proud that we've been able to accomplish so much these last few years in the city. Thanks to funding from Supervisor Vixie Sandy, we were able to add a new outdoor community gathering space at our Riverbend Manor public housing site, which includes a new gazebo, table and chairs, walking path, and trees planted with the help of Tree Davis and Washington Middle College high school students. At the same complex, we just recently completed a $1.5 million roof and HVAC replacement project, replacing roofs that were more than 30 years old and upgrading the HVAC system to more energy efficient systems. In the past 5 years in West Sacramento, we've seen more than 100 new project-based voucher units get constructed through the 1801 West Capitol and the Huddle projects. And we're incredibly excited to break ground next year on our 641 5th Street project, where New Hope Community Development Corporation, in partnership with Operative Office and Brinshore Development, will be building 36 new units of affordable multifamily housing with all rental units having project-based vouchers from Yolo County Housing. We're so grateful to the City of West Sacramento for their ongoing support of that project, which without the city's support would not have been possible. We also have 2 programs, the Family Self-Sufficiency Program and the Housing Choice Voucher Home Ownership Program, that help individuals and households create long-term success and economic opportunity. The last 2 years, we've been working hard to expand both of these programs, and I'm excited to share that last year, we had an HCV West Sacramento participant take advantage of the home ownership program and purchase a home here in West Sacramento. So now their voucher payments are going to pay their mortgage rather than their rent. This year, we had another West Sacramento individual graduate from our Family Self-Sufficiency Program and received over $12,000 from the escrow account they had built up upon their graduation that they hope to use towards home ownership in the future. We're also working to install 6 EV charging stations between our Riverbend and Las Casitas properties, with funding secured from PG&E that should be online later this year or early in 2026. With this EV charger project, investments in our current properties like the roof and HVAC project mentioned, and new affordable housing developments like the 641 5th Street project come into fruition, we're preparing for our next 75 years. I'd be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to honor our staff. Annually at our October commission meeting, we honor our staff members who have been with Yolo County Housing for more than 10 years. And this year we honored 14 staff members with a combined 287 years of experience. Without our staff, none of what we do would be possible. They've helped us succeed for these past 75 years and will ensure our success for the next 75. On behalf of Yolo County Housing and our whole team, thank you to the council and the city for this resolution, for your support and your ongoing collaboration.
Thank you. And did you want to? Okay. All right. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I'm just going to say thank you again for doing this. My mother would tell me stories of when she was growing up. She was born in 1935. And where they lived, families didn't get this type of help. She would tell me that my grandfather, even though he worked very hard, just couldn't afford a decent. And there were 7 in her family. No electricity, no heating, not even insulation in the houses. And they often got sick, you know, from exposure either to really cold weather or just the heat. And I think what really made it worse was just feeling desperate sometimes, that they were never going to see anything better in their lives. Things, of course, changed. That was great, but it took many years. And I'd hate to think, you know, she would often tell me that other children would maybe, you know, point at them, that they were the, you know, poor kids in the neighborhood and they weren't as valuable as others. So programs like this, you know, give people, it uplifts them and it gives them a sense of purpose. And what you're doing is much more than just providing safe housing. It really goes to the core of the spirit of elevating people. So thank you again.
"75 years, that's an incredible amount of time. That's a diamond anniversary. I don't have any diamonds for you, so I apologize. I sit on the Executive Commission to address homelessness, and we heard from Yolo County Housing on the strategic plan, and we had it again at council. And I am so impressed with the organization and the work that you do, not only to provide housing, but create community, and the work that staff does to make sure that people's basic needs are met. And your staff is loving and caring, and it's just incredible what you do. And it's wonderful when I get to hear stories about how our staff connect and we are able to do things together and move really fast, and projects come to council and we get them approved. And you know, I think West Sacramento can be incredibly nimble, but we always need partners that can be nimble too. And you are absolutely an incredible partner. And so thank you for the work you do. It's wonderful when you can come and be recognized for this, because I know this is hard work. It's emotional. And there's still so much need. There's so many people on a waiting list to get housed. And I know everybody on your staff feels that daily. And so thank you for all of the work that you do. And thank you for being here tonight.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I thank the team and thank staff as well. I had a chance to actually be part of the hiring committee for you a couple years ago, and it has just been so amazing to see what we've been able to get done as an organization in such a short amount of time. I love getting stuff done, particularly when it comes to helping people in need. Oftentimes, government moves slow for several reasons. And that's probably the most frustrating thing for me sitting up here. It was the most frustrating thing as a government worker, because while we're moving slow, there are people who are unhoused that are falling into desperate situations, and we can do something about that. And so I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I appreciate your innovation around getting creative around finding funding. As we know, things have gotten tight at the federal level. And so appreciate the partnership in finding grants and tagging us in as well for us to be able to step up. Housing, I think for West Sacramento, affordable housing is in particular important to us. I know that, at least for me and my colleagues, one of our values is that no matter where you are in your development or in your journey, we want West Sacramento to be a place that you can come back to. If you were raised here and you're coming back and you've graduated from college, we want a place that you can afford to live. And the same thing goes for our seniors. And I think that's what this offers. Many people know my story. I came here because we had affordable housing. I had many places in Davis that my family stayed that were absolutely low income, and we needed that. Obviously, similar to what Councilmember Akala said, I'm no longer at that point, but I have not forgotten the hardship. And then the last thing I would say is just for our kids, for housing, oftentimes it's hard for kids to be able to focus when they don't know where they're going to be able to go back to, where they're going to be able to rest their head or study for school. And so this is so important. I've had an opportunity to tour all of our affordable housing units in West Sacramento, and I can say that they really are a place that we can be proud of, and that families can have dignity, have stability, and that's just so important to our community. So thank you very much.
Well, Ian, you are sitting at a legacy of success, and you've just described it really well, the history and what has been accomplished, not only just here in West Sacramento, but in Yolo County. You know, I think Lisa Baker was a person who I've known well over the years, and has helped us weave together delicately funding sources together with Aaron, you know, who is an expert in this area. So Aaron's expertise, not only just here in West Sacramento, but in other cities. It's and with our team, with Raul, you know, Huerta and others here in the city who are priority as a result of this council, who knows that affordable housing and access to the housing, you know, whether it be a shelter or supportive services, is essential for the success. But adding on top of what you've provided there, just building personal wealth so that you can have permanent, you know, a home where you can permanently live and call your own. And so I applaud you and your team for carrying this torch and this legacy, moving it forward. Great hire, you know, Councilmember Early. You know, to your entire team who continues to thrive and make this, where I've been hearing from a lot of people, we're very successful. You know, making it a pro-housing designation has been just the number of policy changes that have happened since 2020, and we're going to continue to do the work. Which is just, I have an idea of something I'm going to be touring this Friday. It's the 3D home project. So just to share with you, in case you wanted to take a look at that, we're going to continue to build and make it affordable so that we can pass on that affordability onto our constituents. So thank you so much for all your work, and I'm going to go down and take the photo now. You want to do?
Yep, we'll do.
All right, well, we have Buena Vista Rancheria member here that we can include. Is a Native American, is Native American. All right, we'll
Wanna do that?
start out with, our next proclamation is, let's see, where is it at? Presentation recognizing November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month. Yes, now you get it. Yes, and if there are any other Native American, members here in our community, it could be anybody, all right? It could be anybody. We would welcome you to share a few words and receive the proclamation. And Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hull is going to read the presentation.
Thank you. Just wanted to let everybody know that representatives from the Yocha Dehe Wintum Nation were planning to attend tonight, but due to unanticipated circumstances, they are unable. So we'll read the proclamation, and then if you'd like to share a few words, and then we'll take a photo this evening. Proclamation of the West Sacramento City Council recognizing November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month. Whereas Native American Heritage Month has been established at the national and state levels with proclamations and celebrations to recognize the diverse culture, traditions, histories, significant contributions, and present-day lives of Native Americans. Whereas the city of West Sacramento was established in 1987 within an area of California that represented an unceded territory of indigenous people known as the Patwin or Southern Wintum, and whereas the earliest historic written records of the Patwin began with the Spanish mission explorations and the registers, and ethno-historic records show that the Patwin inhabited land from the hills of the eastern North Coast Range to the Sacramento River, and from Princeton south to the San Pablo and Sassoon Bays. And whereas, like most indigenous people throughout the United States, the Patwin were forced from their ancestral lands onto reservations and rancherias during the early 1900s, where they currently reside as citizens of 3 sovereign, federally recognized tribal governments, today known as Yocha Dehe Wintum Nation, Tlistol Dehe Band of Wintum Indians, and the Kisil Dehim Band of Wintum Indians. And whereas the city has a meaningful government-to-government relationship with the Yocha Dehe Wintum Nation and works in partnership to address the needs of the community and improve the lives of people who live within their respective jurisdictions today. And whereas the city was honored to collaborate with Yocha Dehe Wintum Nation and local residents last year to rename 2 streets to replace the offensive SQ term. And whereas Native people have made and continue to make distinct and significant contributions in many fields, including academics, agriculture, art, business, education, ecology, engineering, environmentalism, forestry, government, language, leadership, literature, mathematics, medicine, music, politics, poetry, science, and traditional cultural practice. And whereas the city discourages any and all forms of racial slurs, names, or imagery that depict indigenous people as mascots or logos in educational institutions, sports teams, or any other organization within the city. And whereas the city will encourage its citizens to acknowledge and celebrate November as Native American History Month every year to foster education, relationships, and cooperation with Native people, while also supporting social and economic opportunities for them within the city of West Sacramento and Yolo County. Now, therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of West Sacramento does hereby recognize the month of November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month. Proclaim this 19th day of November 2025. Thank you.
Oh, I would like to thank you for acknowledging Native American Heritage Month. I am very proud that I have my birthday in Native American Heritage Month, but for me, every day is Native American Heritage. Want to acknowledge the tribal peoples of this area. Also want to acknowledge the river that connects all of our tribal peoples to this area. So we have the Miwok that were here, because I grew up here. We have, you have Shingle Springs, you have Wilton, you have Ione, you have Auburn, which are my cousins. And so you have all these tribes that are surrounding us, which is so powerful. And that river is what connects us all, which is amazing. I look forward to seeing that museum. I just want to also acknowledge during Native American Heritage Month, while people celebrate Thanksgiving, we celebrate something a little bit different. We have missing and murdered indigenous peoples that we're still looking for. And so just taking a moment to send prayers out for all those missing people that just say some prayers for that. Also want to acknowledge that while we were the first peoples, we were one of the last to be to get voting rights. Not until 1924 did tribal people get the right to vote, which is kind of crazy, right? I mean, we're the first peoples, but yeah, we're the last to get. Anyways, also want to just acknowledge that you mentioned the termination periods. Yes, terminations was awful for tribes because what ended up happening is many of our tribes, while we were recognized, then they decided that we were unrecognized and they terminated our tribes, which resulted in the loss of many of our lands. And so the reservations that you see now are just scattered pieces of what, which was much bigger than what it is now. So all those lands that have been lost, and then the struggle for our Native peoples that we that fight for that recognition, and then they fight for that recognition and then end up only with either scattered pieces of land or no land at all. So there's some serious struggles with our tribes, but I just want to acknowledge all of our surrounding tribes. No disrespect to Yochadihi, I very much respect them. The ancestors of this place are definitely connected to all the tribes that are here, but I just wanted to acknowledge the surrounding tribes that are also connected, and many of our tribal people all went to these schools. Many members from Shingle Springs and Wilton and Ione and Buena Vista all went to these schools, and so the cultural heritage here is so strong, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. And so did you want to? I don't want to hog it all up. Okay. And Lori here has very strong ties to Shingle Springs, as do I. That's one of my, my neighboring tribe. We go and we dance there at their res. They come and dance at ours. So yes, thank you for that. And with that,
Oh. Any other comments among our colleagues here before? We're going to take a picture, so don't go anywhere.
I'll be real quick. Rhonda and Lori, thank you for educating us also on a lot of issues that are happening now in the Native American community. And I want to say special thank you, Rhonda, for everything that you've done. I mean, you were the person who really got Wright Park moving for us. And I want to give a shout out also to Alfred Melbourne, who, with Three Sisters, he provides so much food. I think they were up to like 40,000 pounds, that they distribute throughout the community. Thanks again.
Yeah, and if I can just if I could chime in real quick, you mentioned Alfred. You have a Native American that's here doing really, really good work, and so it's really important that we support that. And it's something we should embrace and be very proud of. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yeah. So with this proclamation, I think of Heritage Oak Park and the work that we did with the tribes to bring art and education to West Sacramento. When construction is finished there, we are going to have a very historically significant space that the community can experience. And I'm very proud of the council. I want to thank the tribes for their work. Thank you to the staff for all of the thoughts, the intentional thought that went into that design. That is going to be such a beautiful space for our community to experience this, learn. Maybe one day we do a proclamation, at the park. But I think that's going to be a physical manifestation of all of these conversations, and it's going to be really special for our community. So thank you.
Remember early.
I just wanted to say thank you. I know we sprung this on you.
A little bit.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
I appreciate, similar to Councilmember Akla, you sharing not only the history, but where some of the issues still exist now. I feel very fortunate to be able to be on a council that pauses and celebrates all of our communities. And I also agree with you that I don't think people know how deep the roots are for Indigenous people in West Sacramento from all different tribes. Recently, for Washington Unified or for Yolo County Office of Education, we had actually a recognition and a celebration of Indigenous students. And West Sacramento had the most Indigenous students.
Oh.
Absolutely. And so I think it's important that we really lift up this community who has been marginalized, who has, to your point, had rights taken away, so that everyone knows how important, welcome they are. So thank you so much.
Rhonda, Laurie, thank you for being here tonight for what I think is Bright Park, but also for your tenacious advocacy on behalf of the people of West Sacramento. You know it's hard work, and you're vocal. You brought people together, not just yourselves, but others. You know, it would be, if there's a way to establish some kind of historical context here in City Hall, whether it be a quilt or some kind of artwork in City Hall, recognizing, as Councilmember Early, all the tribes. So, you know, I just want to put that out there for you and others, if there's a way to convene, you know, and plan something like that, and have a presentation of recognizing all of our tribal community members, because I think it'll bring that pride, that historical meaning of where we came from. And, you know, we know that it's an ongoing struggle for you still. You're always going to be taken a look at with some vulnerability to change or erase. As you saw, the street name, the SQ word, we had to work on that. There was some resistance to making it Tepti. You know, I had to go out there and canvass and explain to people what Tepti meant and why that was a significant word. And Yochadehi was the only respondent when there was outreach to come up with a name that reflected the Native American. And it's a beautiful name. I know it's not my street, but I think it's a beautiful name. Just grateful for all your contributions, and continue to see what we can do to work together, not just here today, but here and ongoing every day, as you mentioned. So with that, we can go down and take a photo.
Oh.
Oh. To conclude that part. Oh, next is our consent agenda items 5 through 11. Going to ask council on which ones they would like to pull, but just to begin, I'm going to pull 8, 9, and 10. Are there any other requests to pull items? No other requests? Okay. Starting off with 8. And if there's any request to speak on this, Madam Clerk, I just want to check in with you. There is. Okay, so just prompt me if I kind of gloss over that. We'll do this now. Thank you. Kate Smith, our Parks and Rec Director, who's worked really hard on this. Kate, can you provide a little presentation about this agenda item and why it's relevant in taking us to the next step of having the Bright Park renovation, the whole park renovation, including the pool, what this all means?
Yes. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. My name is Kate Smith, Director of Parks and Recreation, and I am here tonight to get your approval on our purchase and sale agreement and priority use agreement for the Bright Park property. So the reason this is before you this evening, we have been working on the Bright Park Master Plan implementation project for the last 2 years, and part of our last 2 years of work included receiving a $15 million grant from the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Program, which allowed us to purchase the property from the Washington Unified School District. So we have been working closely with Washington Unified the last 12 months, and we are at a place now where our city staff and our legal team have approved the purchase and sale agreement, which is, again, on the agenda tonight. And part of that is also a priority use agreement that was a request per Washington Unified through their 7-Eleven process that they went through, that it be a part of the purchase and sale agreement.
Thank you for that very helpful background. There have been a number of questions from the public that we received, and one is, why aren't we having the groundbreaking November? There seems to be an understanding that it was November. Can you describe what exactly was happening November 2020?
Sure. So we are still on time, and before you this evening, again, as we're looking for your approval on the purchase and sale agreement, we are planning as far as the construction timeline. We will be going out to bid actually tomorrow for construction management services, and then the contract will come to City Council. We are targeting February 26th. And then we also will be releasing what's called an invitation to bid. So that is our process that we have to follow to bring on our contractor or our builder. And that contract will come to City Council hopefully March 26th. Between the contract approval and working with the teams, getting them onboarded, we hope to have a shovel actually in the ground May 26th.
May 26th for the shovel in the ground.
Correct.
For a bid, it could increase the cost, and that's where you come to us for approval. And does that include the loan that we were anticipating to pay for this bid?
Yes, so in August this year, we presented you with the information that we have, which was approximately a $62 million project, including the land acquisition. And once we go out to bid, we will have the final construction numbers. Separately from that, we are applying for a loan through the iBank program, and we are working closely with iBank and our finance team and making sure that that dollar amount that we do actually apply for does give us a little bit of wiggle room in case the bids do come in slightly higher.
Thank you. So that process is working together with this is to make sure we get the exact amount needed.
Correct.
Okay, and the other inquiry I received is, say May, would that be around the time when we will have those that are currently accessing the park for soccer or Little League? For how long, and what are our plans around that? Because I get inquiries, and I feel like people are receiving letters that they won't have access to it next year. Can you give a little more background on what access they will have around the city?
Yeah, so we are working closely with our organized sports leagues and being able to tell them now that we will have access to Bright Park, specifically for girls softball and boys Little League. I know that we received a lot of questions about that for spring 26. So our goal is to have the park available, and then obviously the park will also be available for all of the residents surrounding Bright Park. Once the fences go up, May 26th, the park will be offline. We are working very closely with Washington Unified, as well as some of our other community partners, such as Holy Cross, to find relocation field space so that our goal is that we are not having to cancel or decrease any sort of programming, both with our organized sports leagues as well as our recreation programming.
Okay. Yes, you may ask a question. I'm all done, actually.
Yeah, okay, good.
You
I
can
don't want to
have it.
interrupt.
You're funny. So I do have just a couple of clarifying questions. I know the answers to them, but again, this is a public conversation, and we want to make sure everyone also is privy to the same information, right, that we're getting. And I feel like maybe we skipped a couple of steps. It's in the staff report, but just to be clear, do we currently own the land?
No, we do not.
Okay, I think that's really important that we level set, because we jump to the next, all the phases of we're going to go out to bid, and we're going to build, and we're going to shovel ready and all the things. But step one, right, is we need to complete the purchase. And so we're here tonight for a couple of reasons. One, to help then facilitate the next parts of that, right? And so if I won't speak for my colleagues, but if we approve this, can you walk me through the immediate next steps, not like 6 months from now?
Yes, so the item on the agenda tonight is to get your approval on the purchase and sale agreement. So the transactions that are in there, it's technically 2 parcels, 1 transaction. The 24.62 acres is Bright Park proper, what the community knows, and then there is 4.076 acres of adjacent roadway, and that is just because of how the parcel previously was cut. So 2 parcels, 1 transaction, looking for your approval on the purchase and sale agreement. As a condition of the purchase and sale agreement, there is a priority use agreement. That was a request from Washington Unified. Once, if we do receive your approval this evening, Washington Unified still does need to give us their final approval, and their board does need to approve both documents as well. So tonight is the first step, again, towards finalizing that purchase.
Okay, I have a couple of follow-up questions. Thank you, Kate, for indulging me a little bit. Let's say this does go forward, we approve it. It then goes to, I think, Washington Unified staff. What happens if either Washington Unified school board members either don't approve it, or timing-wise, how quickly can we be shovel ready for property that we don't own? I'm just curious.
Yes, so if they do not approve the purchase and sale agreement, essentially allowing the city to acquire the property, we will not be eligible for the $15 million grant. So that is part of that $15 million. So it is critical that obviously we can get to a place where we can acquire the land. So that is one piece. If the process goes beyond what we are currently planning to bring on, these construction teams that I referenced, we could possibly lose the ability to reimburse for our expenses that we are paying to the construction team, because we do not actually own the land yet.
Okay, that's helpful. And so I know we've been working really, really well. Staff has been working really well with Washington Unified School District staff. Again, as you heard me say earlier, I know government moves slowly for many, many, many different reasons. I actually think we've moved as quickly as possible during our tenure here. But it does sound like if this goes forward, I'm gonna hazard a guess of when this goes forward from our perspective, that the next step will be, we will need our amazing partners of Washington Unified School District and staff to be able to move just as quickly, just as nimbly, to get this moving forward if we are to stay on track for our timeline, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm excited. I know they're excited. I cannot wait. I'm encouraging them. Okay, and so then last question, assuming all of the things, we move forward, Washington Unified moves forward in a quick and timely fashion, the priority that you talked about, because I know I had a question about this. So Washington Unified will receive priority to be able to program some of that, but their priority time will be at what point? What are the boundaries around that?
Yeah, their priority time aligns with the school schedule, so 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. During regular school days. So they will not have priority use during the summer. That allows the community to have summer camps, utilize the park when school is not in session. And also on the weekends. So it's a good balance of meeting their need of, again, serving some of their, children that are there attending Riverbank. That was kind of their biggest concern. And then also being able for the community to utilize the park in the evenings and weekends when it is heavily programmed.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Any other questions among the council members? Okay. Hey, we're going to open it up for public comment and then see if there's any other questions from public comment.
Thank you.
Lori Gutierrez.
Hello. Sorry, a little harsh. Hello. My name's Lori. Thank you for having me. My concern is when we went to Riverbank Elementary School to look at the plans, why wasn't this told to us that it was not the city of West Sacramento's property? Why didn't, I mean, I used to go to the school there, and I literally thought the city owned the park. I literally didn't know the school did, half of it. So why wasn't it addressed to us, the people? Then we have to go through another process. I mean, I'm a little confused because we were told we were going to break dirt in November. That's what was told at the Riverbank Elementary School when we were going over the plans. And then they made it seem so good. So when I went back to us, the people, to explain, literally people started blowing up my phone asking me what's going on in November. And now this is like a slap in our face. So I'm just kind of confused on what's going on. I mean, when is it going to start? And do we know if the school's on board already? And do we have to wait for them now? Is this going to be guaranteed in March or May or when you guys say it is? Because our kids and our people on our side are suffering. They're lacking a lot. Lacking a lot. So I'm just curious, is this going to be done 100%? And now you're telling me, because I was going to ask what happens in November, now you're telling me what's happening, so now we have to wait till next year. So I just like to know if the school district is on board with us, or are they going to say no? So those are my questions. I mean, I'm here for all Brighton Broderick, and I've been here for a lot of years. So I just want to know, when is this going to get done for the community? I'm tired of this month and this and this. There's a lot of stuff being built in West Sacramento, but I know now we're dealing with the school district. That kind of like frustrates us, the people, because this wasn't told to us. If it was told to us, we wouldn't have had hopes. Literally from the time we went there to now, people literally thought we were breaking dirt. And I'm sitting here all happy saying, hey, get your families, let's get ready. We're going to go out there. We're going to witness this. And now today I got told we have to wait on the school district. That's all I have to say.
Rhonda Pope Flores.
Too short. Way too short. And I think as I get older, I'm shrinking.
Yep.
It's awful.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay,
looks
so,
heavy.
see, that's what I was afraid of, right there. We made promises, and we were here, we watched that screen, we went to these meetings, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm taking a crime and deviance class right now, and I'm learning so much. Do you know that there is a direct correlation with crime for uninvested communities? We had an injunction issued against our Broderick community. We've been stereotyped, and it really got me thinking that this is just absolute evidence of, it just made me think of Bright Park. And it made me actually more compelled. Haven't been here as much because I'm in school and it's hard to be here. But I share the same concerns. And I know a little bit more. I know that we've been working on, I've known that we didn't own the property. Or city didn't own it. No, we did. We own it because, we pay taxes, so it's ours. Anyways, oh gosh, we have to get it together. And this doesn't take away from anything in any way of the work that you guys have put in because I very much appreciate. So please do not take my comments out of context. This is not directed towards the people that have worked so hard, and I know they have. And I just want to thank you because I see your effort, so I don't want to take that away from you, but we really have to get this together. We cannot keep disappointing our community members. This is not okay. And again, this is why there's so much frustration, because we're promised something, we're told something. I sat in that room in the back upstairs and I looked at how long Bright Park has been on this radar, and this is just not acceptable. We have to get it together. We have to make this happen. We have to coordinate better. We have to deliver for this community. It's been way too long. So please make this happen. We can't have any more broken promises. We need to invest in this community. There's got to stop being parks built and planned decades after Bright Park and built before Bright Park. That is not acceptable anymore. We cannot have this anymore. Stop starting parks when you have the biggest park in West Sacramento that you have not done for decades. Thank you.
We have no additional requests to speak on this item.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Closing the public comment, bringing it back to council for any questions. Yes, Councilmember Early?
Everyone has different talents on our council, and one of my talents that I've learned, particularly over the past several years, is the gift of clarity. Asking probative questions to things that may seem obvious, right, to us, and I realize that, and I can understand the frustration of thinking something was going to happen, and even if from our perspective we thought, right, that it was clear that this was part of the process and was part of our timeline, I think it's important as much as possible that I often say actually to my team that clarity is kindness. It really is. And so one of the questions and comments that we got was, hey, is the Washington School District on board with this? And I would say all indications point to yes. I would also look to my colleagues who sit on the 2x2 to be able to provide us some feedback on that. But in order for us to get that $15 million grant, the school district had to actually say, yes, we are interested, willing partners in going into this land deal with the city. And so all indications would point to, yes, that this is something they are 100% on board with. I think what's going to be important is not only that their energy and their willingness, but also, as you heard earlier from my questions with Kate, there is also a time factor that is going to be really important, that our partners are able to move with us in order to help get this done. And so I have faith in our school board. I have faith in Washington Unified School District staff. I do not say that lightly. I truly do. I've had an opportunity to work with the staff and work with my colleagues on the school board. And so I know we're going to be able to get this done. And what I can say confidently is that both our city staff as well as this entire council has worked extremely hard. And again, I don't say that lightly. This entire council has worked extremely hard to move this as quickly as humanly possible. As you said, despite the fact that it has been on our strategic plan for at least a decade or part of our priorities, in the short amount of time that this council has been together, it has moved not only from planning to implementation. And that needs to be acknowledged because that was not an easy feat at all. And so we are working very hard and diligently. I think that is obvious in our actions and our priorities of pulling together $62 million in order to make sure that our entire community, including the Broderick and Bright community, has the investment that they absolutely deserve. And again, I truly believe that. And so that is my commentary, and I will get off my soapbox.
Off the soapbox? And on to any other council members that have any thoughts?
Yeah, just some comments. Mayor Guerrero and I sit on the city school district 2x2, and we meet every month. And for the last several meetings, Bright Park has been on the agenda. And I will agree with you, Councilmember Early, that the school district is moving fast. And there were a lot of moving parts to get to this point. A 7-Eleven committee had to be put together. The actual process of putting the committee had to meet. And so in every 2x2, we've been looking at the deadline of what's our deadline to have this land in our possession so that we can receive this grant. And we've been very clear in those 2x2 meetings. And so I appreciate staff keeping us on schedule and timeline. While I cannot speak for the school board, based on our conversations in the 2x2 meeting, all signs do point to, yes, we're on the team. This is going to happen. The purchase and sale agreement is going to go through. And so while we are getting closer to that deadline, I have a lot of trust in staff right now, and I appreciate how fast everybody's moving right now. And I have trust in our school district. They've been great partners in this because there have been a lot of moving parts. And I actually think it's an incredible thing, the amount of parks that we've been able to move forward in such a short period of time, especially Bright Park being such a large project. I think one of the largest that the city has ever taken over. And to be able to break ground in May, it's going to be a very exciting time for our community who uses that space. So that's just some thoughts on the 2x2 meeting and our partners at the school district.
Councilmember Alcala?
Thank you. I do not sit on the 2x2, nor have I spoken with anyone on the 2x2, but I have spoken with other trustees. So this is going to happen. I know sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's going to happen.
Question. Kate, the question that I would like to answer here, initially, when we were taking a look at making improvements at Bright Park, it wasn't the entire scope of this project that we have today. And I think when we pivoted, it changed how we would have to, based on the grant, it's based on the grant really, that we have to acquire this property. Initially, Lori is right. We weren't looking at buying. We were looking at just taking a look at some pieces of Bright Park, right?
Correct. When I first came on board, August 23, I was told at the time we didn't have the funding and we may have to look at phasing. We worked really hard, and luckily there was a grant that came out that had a different tool that was used that previous grants Bright Park was not eligible for, and this one it was. And so we worked really hard to get this grant, the $15 million, which included the land acquisition, and that kind of catapulted this project to a place that was a little bit more feasible as far as construction. And then when we came to council, provided a few different options of, if now that we have the grant, we have to, here's what it would be to build the entire park. If we did not want to pursue the grant, and here would be the different options with phasing. And so this council did unanimously say to move forward with the grant, the acquisition, and to build the entire park.
And just to chime in with a point of clarity there too, the grant that Kate's talking about, it was a $15 million contribution to the project. Part of that is land acquisition, but the balance is going towards the construction of the project. So,
right,
as she said, it further enabled us to be able to build the project all at once versus having to go into a phasing approach. The trade-off was, yes, we had to complete the purchase process of the park, and as you know, the district has a process that it's required to go through to get there. I also want to just kind of put this in perspective. When we were here in August, that was with the financing strategy. We laid out the timing for construction and acquisition. November of 2025 was our acquisition target date. So we can't control the district's timing on when they'll act on the agreement. We hope it's very soon. But in terms of this council's schedule and our ability to meet it, we are on track with what we committed to back then. I want to clarify that.
Thank you, Aaron. So that's been my understanding initially, the phasing did not require purchasing but seeing how we wanted to have everything done at once, being responsive to what the community wanted was having everything done at once as in lieu of the phasing. I would say that you tracking down this grant opportunity where the school district was supportive based on a certain value of the property, you then had to do your due diligence through the 7-Eleven, where I think I did communicate to some members of the community to be involved and engaged in working in the 7-Eleven process to encourage the members there to be favorable, because the 7-Eleven process is separate from the school board members that designated, the recommendation to the school board to give us this acquisition. But still, another phase is for the school board where that's where it rests now, is the next phase. And do you have an anticipated time for that meeting?
I do not. I'm hoping I believe they have a school board meeting in December. I meet with the school board on Monday this coming week, and I've been in close communication leading up to tonight. They're aware that we were coming this evening, getting your approval, and so the next step will be explaining to them that we now have your approval if you approve tonight, and so it'll be up to them to make that final approval.
And again, I just want to reiterate that the district all on this process, they have a process they have to go through. It's not every day districts sell property. That part's understandable. They've been great partners thus far, as you know, as many of you stated. And so we're only here at this stage thanks to that cooperation. We hope and expect that will continue. We'll definitely keep the council updated as we go through it. But the schedule is on track, and we won't know exactly when the construction date will be until the acquisition is completed. But we're here in November, as we said we would be, for land acquisition.
Kate, thank you so much for all your hard work on this. Trying to get as much out to the public about, demystifying all these nuances and repeating again where we're at in order for the public to understand. And I'm hoping that they do. And if not, we may have to have some more conversations with the public.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, the next item that I wanted to bring up was item number 9. I had a very basic question. Who's on? Okay. Rebecca Scott. Is this your first time up here, Rebecca?
I think other than my introduction, yeah.
Other than your introduction, Rebecca. This is great to have you here for your first time. It's a roast. It's a roast. So,
bring it on.
This utility fee that we're taking a look at it's related to what the utility. It was a commission. There's a commission, the Utilities Commission had reviewed, correct?
So what's before you tonight is actually not related to the EU Commission. It's similar to the Prop 218 process, but it's actually separate. And so the exhaustion procedure is a state-required mandate that cities now need to follow when considering new or increased water or sewer utility fees or assessments. And it's slightly different than the Prop 218 rate increase, in which the protest hearing determines whether the city may adopt the rates based on majority protest. So in short, the exhaustion procedures are about preserving the right to sue for anyone who wants to challenge the rates, once they're adopted. And then Prop 218 is about approving the rate itself. So what's before you tonight is not related to the EU Commission, but it is related to a new state requirement that allows folks to just have a formal opportunity to review proposed fees, submit written objections, and then they can get a written response from city staff during the Prop 218 process.
Okay. So November 12th, the EU Commission did review an agenda item, and so it's not related to that particular agenda item.
So the exhaustion procedures, once this item comes to council on December 3rd, when we bring the utility rates,
Before any legal challenge can be brought by someone, they have to, the city would need to give property owners and ratepayers the formal opportunity to review those proposed fees. So after December, once we have direction from council on the proposed rate adjustments, the city would be sending out its Prop 218 newsletter, and in tandem with that, that would be also the open comment period where people could basically challenge, the rate increase proposal. And so if they don't challenge it during that time, then they cannot sue the city later on as a result of the increased rates. So it's a state process put in place just to allow them to challenge them in the beginning stages of it, and then if they wanted to do a lawsuit later, they could.
Thank you. It's a state law that passed AB 2287 in 2024.
2257 in 2024.
2257 in 2020.
Yes.
So it was active January 2025?
That I can.
It was active 2025.
Okay.
So with that, this is November. We're just starting we're starting this process.
So this wouldn't actually be to start the process. This would be for the council to allow the process to happen from now on.
Okay.
And so because this process only occurs when there's a proposed rate increase, we felt it prudent to bring it, before we're bringing the rates to council. We wouldn't have had an opportunity for anyone to challenge proposed rates before now because, again, we weren't looking at increased rates just yet.
Okay. So that helps. Thank you so much. That's all I needed.
I do have a
Oh,
question.
yes,
follow-up
Councilmember
question.
Alcala.
So this rate increase that you're proposing, how is that voted? Is it the council that would approve this rate increase? All right, and then this process right here. This is just simply a process for them to appeal the decision that we make? How does this work?
It's slightly different than an appeal. It's basically to give the customers and ratepayers an opportunity to review the fees and submit a written objection, and then the city has the responsibility to provide a written response at the Prop 218 hearing or before that time. And so they can ask questions, they can, have comments, and it's just another way for them to be part of the rate setting process, in addition to the 218 where they would be adopted by the council at that time, absent a majority protest from the ratepayers.
If I could.
Yes.
One way to think about it is the Prop 218 protest process is just that. You can protest.
Right.
But it's not really an opportunity to engage with the staff about why you have a problem. Sometimes a protest is simply people don't want to pay an increase, but sometimes the protests are really generated by a concern that the rates weren't put together the right way, they weren't properly supported. This process, this objection process, provides a mechanism for folks to raise specific issues, and hopefully, if it's an issue that warrants being addressed, gives staff an opportunity to fix it before it comes to the council for action, so that we can avoid litigation by having people raise their issues ahead of time, and more than just saying, I don't want to pay the increase, right? They have an opportunity to actually articulate what their problem is with it. And if it's a real problem, we have an opportunity to fix it. And so it helps on the back end from our perspective, because if they haven't raised their objections, they would be barred from going to court. But on the front end, it's an opportunity for them to actually be able to participate in the process by raising specific objections that we would have to deal with.
So they would do that before or after a vote?
So the council will look at the proposed rates on December 3rd and direct staff to send a Prop 218 with a ceiling rate increase. And so in mid-March, the council would relook at those rates in another public hearing as part of the Prop 218 process, and could adjust rates up to that ceiling that was in the Prop 218 newsletter. And so this would be, the exhaustion procedures will run at the same time as that Prop 218 process of commenting, but there would be several months in between. So they have to have at least 45 days in order to submit their objections through the exhaustion procedures.
Okay, that cleared up. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so that's very helpful. I get the difference. Thank you so much. Is agenda item 10. Doug. We're revamping our, we're doing a redesign of the city website. Thank you so much for working on this. Of course. Long overdue. So, you know, I'm interested in looking at more ways to enhance AI interaction so it's intuitive for those that are using our website. I don't know how we do that. Sometimes it could be, you know how you ask AI, you know, can you give me some more information? And then it pops up a link or something like that. If there's a way to connect that, and I would be interested in maybe connecting with Google to have that conversation.
This is just an appropriation, so we can certainly have conversations as this process rolls out. I will say that Granicus, who's our current provider, they are implementing a contained AI tool within city websites where a resident, for instance, can ask a question, how do I submit a building permit? And that AI tool will pull from the website itself and create a approachable answer for people. So that's one of the options that we have here. We're definitely looking to make this a much more usable and resident-friendly experience on the website. So that's definitely part of the thing.
I heard that part, and then I think Andrea's working on contributing to that. I don't know if you wanted to add anything about the permit. Andrea. She has.
I think this will be probably a year-long process, all told, and this is just getting it rolling with an appropriation.
Yeah.
So it will be a cross-departmental effort, and I think we can maximize the.
Because I like the AI
investment
idea.
here. Yeah,
like
for
asking
sure.
the permit.
Yeah.
If there's a way to expand on that a little more, on how that would work.
Well, like Doug said, I think these are burgeoning technologies. We're always looking for ways that AI can help make our process more efficient and more transparent. We don't have those tools at this point yet,
Right.
but in working through the project of the full website, our intention here is to look at the most advanced tools and best practices and meld those together to create a platform where people would be able to find the information they need.
Okay.
We do have Open Counter, which is called Permit Pal right now, and you can find out information about building permits that way through the Community Development website.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doug.
Mayor, I have
Yes.
one question.
Councilmember Alcala.
Granicus will be providing certain, did we put this out to bid, an RFP?
So we currently have an existing agreement with Granicus that runs for, I believe, 2 more years. I think it expires in 2027. So what this is proposing is basically amend that agreement to take advantage of their latest software, which again we haven't upgraded since 2017. So it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. All right. It's exciting. Looking forward to seeing those changes. Right. So, Madam Clerk, any other requests to speak under public comment?
We have no other requests to speak on any of the consent agenda items.
Okay, so we will close public comment, and I'll accept the motion to accept our consent agenda item. Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, Councilmember Alcala moved, Mayor Pro Tem Sophia Hall seconded. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Councilmember Early?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. All right. These items are approved. Next, we move to item 12 under public hearings agenda. Items 12, capital projects, is a hearing to consider adoption of resolution 25-116 declaring the public interest and necessity and authorizing commencement of eminent domain condemnation proceedings to secure real property interests necessary for the I Street Bridge Replacement Project, parentheses 010-372-007, comma 010-371-008, and 010-101-012, close parentheses CIP 10033. Fred. You're up.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. You said it all succinctly. Those are the words that I was going to introduce. To talk about just very briefly, this is a request to open a public hearing, to commence with condemnation proceedings to take this property under control. We don't have any impasse for financial issues on these properties. It's basically not clear title. And so we're utilizing this process rather than going through the court for what we call quiet title action, because a quiet title action, in my experience, has taken 2 to 3 years to get cleared. And this would be a better way for us to get control over the properties so that we can continue working amicably with the property owners, which we have today. We've reached, I would say, substantial settlement on partial 012. And so the other 2 remaining parcels need to be negotiated, but we're not here because of an impasse with property negotiations. They're typically why we're doing condemnation. This is basically because there's a cloud on title that we need to get cleared. And the most expeditious way, the straight path forward, is through eminent domain.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Any questions from council members? Open it up for public comment. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak?
We have no requests to speak on this item.
All right. Closing and bringing it back to council for any final comments, questions. None. I'll accept a motion to approve this item.
Early moves.
I'll second.
Councilmember Early moved, Madam Clerk, and Bernice Apizio Hall. Mayor Pro Tem Bernice Apizio Hall seconded. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Councilmember Early?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. All right. Thank you so much, Fred, for all your work.
Thank
on
you.
this. Next, under General Administration Function Part 2, do we have any reports from council assignments?
Let's see. So on Monday, Yolo Transportation District, this past Monday, met. We saw the short-range transit plan that YTD actually came to us, I think, our last city council meeting and presented on. I shared the same sentiment that I did when they presented here at council, which is I appreciate the hard work that's gone into it and them showing us what would be considered the cost neutral model, which is the same amount of hours and miles. However, we know as our contract is going to be going out to bid, meaning our transit operator contract is going to be going out to bid, that likely that the 2018 contract numbers that we are currently paying in rates are going to increase. Which means that what we are seeing now with the cost neutral, same hours, same service, and some of the promises that we're making to our community based on that are likely going to very quickly change when budget becomes a reality. And so the same thing I requested here is what I requested from YTD as well, which is I will want to lean into what the plan will be if we have to cut services and what that would look like for West Sacramento, because that definitely feels like the reality that we are going to be operating in a short amount of time. And so we did have that talk in December. They are going to be coming back with a full draft of the short-range transit plan. And so hopefully transportation staff will be able to attend that meeting to at least get that information as we are trying to plan, whether it be light rail, via, and all other kinds of public transportation for our community so that those can work more seamlessly and strategically together. We had CARTA today, which is the Capital Area Regional Tolling Authority. I am vice chair of that tolling authority. And we are in the process of hiring our executive director for this year, which is going to be an important step as the tolling authority and our managed lane project is going to be moving very, very quickly. And so we saw a presentation from Caltrans today on the Sacramento area project and what tolling and timeline for tolling would look like for the Sacramento region right now. Again, I'll remind us we're working on the YOLO portion of what will eventually be tolling lanes that will run from Davis through West Sacramento on the causeway. And so those are the two major things.
Thank you. Council calendar.
Good evening.
I do have a couple of things to go over. Just as a reminder, November 27th and 28th, City Hall will be closed due to the Thanksgiving holiday. And also, December 5th is the Winter Wonderland tree lighting event at City Hall, and that begins at 6 p.m.
Yay. Okay. I do have an event coming up in our community center. It's a movie screening, and the history around this movie screening, it's related to the California State Association, Cal State SAC, it's SAC State, so I automatically go back to my work. So, SAC State Director Kathy Kasich has done a great job with this movie on the melting of Greenland and how that impacts climate change, just the history of collecting all the data. And we're having this movie screening here. I viewed it in downtown Sacramento, was very curious, and then brought it here to have this viewing because it's very important as we take a look at climate change and the impact. And also my participation, thanks to C40 Cities to attend, which is why I was absent in the last meeting with the support from Bloomberg to attend COP30. One of 36 mayors of North America and many others internationally to be able to have a subnational representation at Rio de Janeiro pre-COP30, and then we launched our representatives into Berlin. This is incredibly important for all of us to continue the conversation on an international level, to take a look at maintaining these policy priorities and protecting our community from climate change. Here in West Sacramento, flood protection being one of those areas, as you see the amount of rain that we're experiencing. And with that, we'll have a call to action for our youth as we continue to see from Bloomberg the extension of the Youth Climate Action Fund. And we were very fortunate to be able to be a recipient of $150,000 here and, allocate about 130, maybe 150,000, I can't remember the exact amount request. We do have a little bit of an extension and continuing to receive youth who are interested to do various projects throughout the city. I've been able to visit some of those projects, and we'll talk a little bit. And one of our youth representatives from the advisory board, Jasmine Garcia, is going to be the moderator of our panel. Yes, she's going to elevate in our youth voice, and really am excited to see her participate, along with many others. So encourage you to come and join us. Doors open at 5 o'clock, movies at 5:30 to 6:30. It's a very short movie. Panel presentation after.
Mary, you said that's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, at the community center, at the Black Box Theater, utilizing our beautiful Black Box Theater. And thanks to all the staff for all your help, Parks and Rec. They've been really helpful in getting the word out. It's not easy to talk about a movie screening, just to get them to participate. So just thanking the staff for all your hard work on that. Let's see, city manager report.
Oh, yeah, just speaking of next week, I'll be out of town all week, spending some time with my family. So on Monday and Tuesday, Ariana will be acting. Doug will be on Wednesday. You can reach me, though, if there's any kind of emergency. And then just wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to the entire city staff. So much reminding us. City attorney report.
Nothing to report.
And staff direction from city council members. I did, not in time, but I did submit a future agenda item request, which will come to the next council meeting for approval. We have our A's baseball players who are getting recognized and awarded Rookie of the Year and other awards that are rolling out. Want to recognize our A's, and they are looking at a timeline between January and February, so that we can have a full display of A's participation here in our city hall. I'm going to invite Sacramento City Council, so we have this joint, effort to be able to recognize the A's players and their accomplishments, and to kind of launch the new season.
I look forward to that, wearing my West Sacramento A's t-shirt that night, so thank you for the heads up.
Yes, we will let you will know when that happens. Yes, of course. All right. That's about it. And I just want to adjourn in memory of Rick Holland. Rick you know, has been known by everybody here in the community. Big family, business, and, you know, icon here in the city. I don't know if you remember, he was always running around in his wheelchair, going from place to place. I was always worried about him getting hit by a car every time I would see him on the street. But, you know, he died of natural causes, but he lived a full life and devoted, you know, father to some beautiful children who continue to give back to our community. So in his memory, Rick Collins' memory, I adjourn. With that, I accept a motion for that. All right. Madam Clerk, Councilmember Early moved, and Councilmember Alcala seconded. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Alcala?
Aye.
Councilmember Early?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulpicio Hall?
Aye.
Mayor Guerrero?
Aye. All right. We are now adjourned. Thank you.